Yes, I want to welcome you to this initial training of our step-by-step, in-depth training on how to build a Shopify store from start to finish. You're going to be looking over my shoulder. My name is D. Jarvis Floyd, the online entrepreneur. I'm excited that you're here. I hope you can feel my energy, and if you can't right now, believe me, you're going to feel it by the time we get done with this training. I'm excited because the point of this training is to show you how to make a sale in your first 21 days while you're still in your free trial with Shopify. And if you are an advanced person, then this is just going to be something that you can kind of still go over and learn from, because I do things a little bit different from a web designer point of view. And I've been in web design for over 8 years now. I've designed over 80 websites for different people, and myself included. And I just have a different way I do things from someone that just kind of, just does Shopify and that's it. Okay, so I'm going to go over branding and building a firm foundation first, because in order to really do well with any website, it's important to set things up from the beginning the correct way so you don't have to come back later. So that's the whole focus here, is getting things set up the right way. In this training, we're going to cover going over how to pick a domain name and how to get your logo set up properly so that you can have good branding and, once again, a good foundation. Okay, it's important to understand that if you cannot get a sale within your first 21 days due to obligations like family and a job, it's just important to take action, and you'll still be able to make sales. It's up to you to make time for it, but we're going to give you all the knowledge needed to make your first sale within 21 days. Okay, so the resources that we're going to use is, we're going to use GoDaddy to select the domain name and do research. We're going to use a thesaurus to also do research with our domain name. We're going to use Fiverr to go over and create a logo and find someone that can do it at a good price and do a good job for your logo. We're going to use Adobe Stock, and it's stockadobe.com. We're going to use this website to get images that we can use and not have to worry about copyright issues if once our site does well down the road, we actually own our images and there's no issues with images. Okay, and we're going to use Name Mesh to look up names. This is another way to look up domain names. It just kind of gives you a lot more different ideas if you need them. We're also going to do a trademark check on our name that we pick to make sure that there's no one that has a trademark on our name, so we can use our name and our logo on shirts or on anything you want to put them on down the road. And this is something that we're going to cover in a later course, but you wouldn't even have a chance at doing this if you don't do this right in the beginning while you're building your foundation. So just remember that and value that part of the training, okay, and take it serious. The music part here is, we're going to use music it's about this whole process of branding. There's more than one way to brand your website and your business, but the whole point about having the music is to put yourself in a state of relaxation to where you can get your creative process flowing. I use music. You can use art. You can use whatever it is, but I tend to do well with music and brainstorming. Okay, so that's the theory here. Another point to consider before you even start the name, before you start picking your domain name and your business name, is to really understand the two different types of stores that we're going to be talking about and working with. And it's a general store versus a niche store. For anyone starting off, and even for lots of people that have experience, my recommendation is to start with the general store unless you really know what you're doing, because a general store is a store that can sell across a wide variety of niches. A niche store is just a store that can just basically sell in one niche. An example would be a fishing site that sold fishing products, or a bowling site that sold bowling products for bowlers. When you do a niche store, you can sell any niche you want to. Okay, so you have a lot more flexibility. And so if you are selling something and you don't really do the research, and you get into selling bowling products, and then all of a sudden you realize that, hey, this is not really selling as much as I need it to break even and make profit, then you have to start a whole nother store. Whereas with a general store, you can revamp, you can redo, you can easily switch up things if you need to. So we're going to start off with a general store, and I highly recommend starting with that unless you really know your market and you've done research. Okay, so to kind of move forward now into the actual process. We're going to start off with GoDaddy, and I'm going to go ahead and type in the name that I chose here in just a moment. I'm going to tell you how I came about getting this name. I knew that I was going to start this store, you know, in a day or so. So I was in my car. I just kind of put myself in my creative mode, and I knew I was going to start a general store. So when I'm in my car riding down the street, I'm thinking of names. I'm thinking perfect this, perfect that store. You know, what am I going to do? What do I want? What's my vision here? You got to have a vision, okay? And my vision, this particular name just stuck out to me, Perfect Collection. And I'm really, like I said, been doing this for a long time, but I'm also going to show you a way where you can come up with things from, you know, if you can't really come up with things that fast in your mind, I'm going to show you another way to do this as well. But Perfect Collection, I loved it. It just popped out of my head. I was just really caught on it, and I came over here to GoDaddy. What you do is you just put your name in GoDaddy pretty much in the search bar here, and you hit search. And a lot of times when you do this process, as you can see here, Perfect Collection's taken. I didn't panic. I did say, okay, this name obviously is a good name because they're asking $500 or more just to buy this name. Most domain names go from anywhere from $12 to $15 per year. So this right here is a lot higher than that because of the premium domain. I highly recommend staying away from premium domains with your first website and whatnot. So the first thing I do since it's taken is I don't panic. I just come over here and kind of look in the middle section here to see if I like any of these recommendations. PerfectCollection.net is available, PerfectCollection.org is available, and .nets and .orgs will definitely be you know, the two next best things to .com, and .co is good too, but .group, .guru, and all these things you see down here, I stay away from those, okay? And you will find out that, you know, you'll do a lot better with the .com for the most part. It's just because people trust it and it has more credibility with people. But you also can do a .net or .org. I don't happen to see anything in this group of names that I like. So what I do is I'm going to come back up here. I really just love the word perfect, and I like how I can visualize myself branding this particular name. So I'm going to take this and copy it and come over to a thesaurus. And to get to this, you just type in, you know, you can Google thesaurus or type in thesaurus.com in your browser bar. So I put the word in there, and the first thing I do is just come down to the synonyms, and I play with different ideas, okay? Supreme Collection, that's pretty good. Absolute Collection, it's okay. Expert Collection, Pure Collection. And you just keep going until you find something, and you have to use your own imagination, your own vision. That's something that can't be taught. This is a brainstorming exercise, and I'll show you how I come up with good branding and good domain names. So for some reason, when I saw flawless, I knew this was the word. This is what I like. This is what I can brand. This is what I stand for. I love it. So out of all these different words, that's the one I like the most. And I come back over here to GoDaddy, and I just type in, I replace perfect with flawless collection. Press enter. I don't panic. It's taken. I look over here again. I don't like any of these .net, .orgs, or any of these different ideas. You might find something you like. I have found things over here that I have liked before. And for some reason, these .gurus and .groups, they cost more than .coms and things like that. And so, once again, I don't panic. I just come over here now. I'm going to copy the word collection. Actually, I like flawless more than I like perfect. And this is what happens when you brainstorm it. You actually come in here and work with this. Okay, so the first word I see here that stands out to me, and if you can take a moment to guess, you got, you know, a bunch of different ideas, but the first thing over here is selection. I just like that. I just can brand it, and that's what you have to do is visualize yourself. Visualize how you're going to do the logo. Visualize what you can do with it. And with selection, I can do a whole lot, okay? I accidentally clicked on that right there, so it brought this up, but we got the word selection there. We saw that. And so we come over here, and we just type in selection. This is going to be taken because I already bought this. I bought this yesterday. And so that's my process for finding the name that we're going to work with, and I'll show you the back end later. But I did buy this for sure, and I own it, and it was $11 a month. When you find something you like, you can register for GoDaddy before, if you don't have an account, before you even start this process, just by going to GoDaddy, and at the very top it's going to say register. If you get to this point first, you just can select it. It's going to have a button that says select if it was available, and then you just continue to cart, and it'll give you the option to buy this domain, okay? And you want to really stay around $11 to $15 a year for this. You don't need to pay $1,000 for a domain or nothing like that for your first store, or even for your second or third store, okay? And when you're going through the process of checking out, they are going to try to get you to buy different upgrades, such as an email account that looks professional for a professional email. You don't need that right now. You can get it if you want to, but you don't need any of the upgrades. Just keep it at the $11.99. It's going to automatically want you to get it for 5 years. You just need to change the box that says 5 years to 1 year. It'll take it back to the $11.99 per year. You just pay for your first year, okay? And just another great tool to use is namemesh.com. If you need ideas, let's say you want to do, and we can just type in, fashion collection here, and let's see what it comes up with. You type in whatever your idea is, and it does the same exact thing. It gives me lots of different ideas. I tend to like this fun area here. It says fashion collecting, and it gives me a bunch of different ideas to spin off of it. And it also tells you these are available, so it tells you everything on here is available. That's another great thing about it. And so this is just a way to get more ideas, and that's what this is all about: brainstorming and ideas, letting your mind guide you in your own vision, and using your own gut feeling. Okay. So that's the process for the most part. There is no right or wrong way to do this, but just that right there should get you a firm start on how you kind of go about finding a name. The last thing I do before I buy it is I go to uspto.gov, and when you get to this site, this is how you check to see if there's a trademark on it. And you can come over here. When you first come to this screen, you go to Trademarks, and you'll select search trademarks right here. It'll take you to this screen here. You just scroll down. And actually, let's click on that again. You'll just scroll down to right here where it says search trademarks. You can come up here where it says basic word mark search new user. In this space here, you'll type in your name, and right here it says no records were found. So we know this is great. We can apply for a trademark if we like it. If we do well with our site. And just to show you what it looks like when something is taken, I'm going to type in McDonald's here. You just hit submit query, and you'll see all types of McDonald's. I'm sure if you go through here, you'll see the McDonald's food chain somewhere. I wouldn't panic if my name was taken, but if flawless selection was taken, I can change it around somewhat to be different. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to get too deep about that, but you can change things around. But you also could use this as a way to say, I'm going to look for a different name if you really want to brand your name, like on t-shirts, you want to go that route, which we'll cover it later down the road. But I want you guys to think about this now when you're doing your foundation part before we get to that point, okay? So I also check every website that I create on this right here, okay? So another great tool to use. So that right there kind of covers the domain name part. I have a name selected. The next part of this is going to be your logo once you select the name. And the first thing I do is I'll pull up another Google tab here just to give you an idea of how I go about getting more ideas. I would come over here to Google and just type in flawless. Let's see what comes up. Just to get some ideas, you can go to images once you type that in. And the first thing you see is Beyonce. Okay, she's flawless. I love this image here with the diamond, but I know I don't want to just put a diamond on as my with my logo, because I don't want people to think, if they just saw my logo, that I'm just selling jewelry. But I like how they have the word laid out here to the right. So remember this. I'll show you how I kind of use this layout. I never copy out anyone ever, and I don't think you should either. Just use this for ideas, okay? And so you can do that. You can just Google lots of different things or different words to get ideas, but I usually always Google something about my name in Google just to get some ideas. The next step is going to be to just create an idea and kind of document it on paper, and let me show you that. Okay, so here we are at a basic mock-up that I did. On the right here you see the lips and you see the Flawless Collection, and let me show you how I come up with this. Okay, with Adobe stock, this right here, I kind of got the idea from looking at Flawless. When I saw Beyonce and all her coloring, I just kind of in my mind I visualized lips. Okay, it just made me think of lips for some reason. I know it's weird, but this is where it comes into you have to be the visionary here and come up with an idea. But I'll show you what I did. And you got to think about three things. You can use three different things you can use for your logo. It can be letters. It can be a person, like a person, like a little small guy or girl, a cartoon character. You can use an icon or whatnot. But I typed in lips, and believe me when I show you the end result, I think you'll be pretty, it's gonna look real good. So I'm excited about it. You'll see here that I bought and purchased this image. I'm gonna click on it. And the first thing you'll notice when you're on here, if you ever go to a site, you don't have to use Adobe stock. There's plenty of image, sites that sell images. You can just Google image providers, or just go select. You actually can go to Google and put the image in the search bar, and when you're going through images on Google, it'll have different companies that sell images on there. I can leave a bunch of resources in the resources section. I'll do that for you as well, okay? But when you come down here and you see file type, I want you to understand that if you buy this image from a lot of these professional companies and the file type is not JPEG, you will not be able to download this image here on your own unless you have Photoshop. So if you ever get to one of these images and you can't download it, don't panic. That's why you can't. But when you send it to someone on Fiverr, the person there can definitely upload it, and he'll change it to JPEG and send it back to you, okay? So the next part is, once I have those lips, I come back over here and I just made a basic mock-up in my mind about what I want, and I want these lips to be on a transparent background and cut the white part out, and it's not going to be any white. And you see how I have purple letters here. This is just a mock. He's going to know to make the letters look a lot better and this thing look a lot better. This just gives him an overall idea. The whole concept here is, whenever you go to someone on Fiverr, you want to give them step-by-step instructions so you're not going back and forth, okay? So that's why I took some time out to show you this, because I have went back and forth in the past, but I've learned that when you go through step-by-step instructions telling them the colors that you want for the logo, where to put the letters, the type of font to use, the size, if you can come up with it, and how you come up with the font type is just to go to Word or go to Google and type in font types, and then you tell him that this is not how the font's going to look. This is just, once again, a mock-up. So the last part to this is going to Fiverr.com, and when you go here, you can create an account if you don't have one at the top right-hand side, and you'll come over here and just select logo, type that in and press enter. When you do, the first thing that comes up is going to be usually the people that have the most stars. And so how I select people is, I select people based upon, I want them to have 5 stars, and I want them to also have had some gigs, and I like to see how long it takes to get it back to me. So 7 orders in the queue is not a whole lot. They have plenty of experience, and 2-day delivery, which is pretty fast. And I would just stick with the $5. So it's 3 days if you do the $5. You can find someone to do it for $5 that'll do it in 1 or 2. I found plenty, but I would just stick with that for your first site, and then you'll get a pretty decent logo as long as you explain what you want him to do line by line. And you'll see here where I just basically, after you pay, it's going to ask you for your requirements, and you just put that here. And you also can attach attachments, and you'll see that once you buy your logo from Fiverr. So I hope you're excited, because this is the beginning phases of of something special. If you can go about and really take this part serious, then I think you'll do really well. It's very important to build a firm foundation for anything you do online. If you don't do things the right way, you can have a very hard time down the road when you're trying to make money. So that's why I wanted to take time and go over branding with you. We may hit some other branding things later on, like how to make a cartoon out of your logo, how to make a video, how to make a commercial, and things like that. So just take your time with this process, but try to get it done in a day or less, day or two maybe, and just get that logo, get this part done so you can send it to somebody on Fiverr so they can get it back to you. Once you get that logo back, it just sets fire to it just puts a vision in your mind, and you're able to move forward, and you kind of know you can put that on your website at the very top, and it just makes me excited. It gets me excited to have that branding done. So once again, I'm just appreciative of you for being here in this free training. I'm excited to take you over my shoulder, someone that makes sales every day in e-commerce. And if any questions, email me or my team, and we'll get back to you. You have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next training.